Why is it said the Soviet Union might have left dead bodies on the moon? In 1982, when the world thought the space race was over, the USSR secretly launched a spacecraft. It landed on the far side of the moon, deploying a 36-meter giant drill that frantically burrowed into the lunar surface. After 4.5 hours, this monster stopped 2 meters underground. It wasn't a research device, it was an underground base for 3 people, codenamed Project Zvezda. NASA's satellites never detected it, hidden beneath the lunar soil. Even more bizarre, declassified files reveal all subsequent supply rockets failed. Those 3 astronauts might have been trapped alive, becoming humanity's first space tomb. Yet the USSR never uttered a word. They even developed a space machine gun that could blow up satellites, firing 5,000 rounds per minute. This gun was fired in 1975, but the target satellite's fate remains top secret to this day. Even more terrifying was the Venus mission. When Soviet probes sent back data of 320 degrees Celsius temperatures and sulfuric acid clouds, they also recorded a sound, the only time humanity has ever heard the voice of hell. And it all began in 1957. On October 4th that year, Sputnik 1 lifted off, and Americans panicked. They never imagined the USSR, devastated by World War II, would be the first to enter space. Worse still, on April 12, 1961, Gagarin became the first human in space, a brutal slap in America's face. President Kennedy couldn't stand idly by. He addressed Congress, vowing to land a man on the moon within a decade. But what he didn't know was that the Soviet Union had already started an even crazier plan. They didn't just want to land on the moon, they wanted to build a permanent base there, even colonize Venus. In 1964, while America struggled with the Apollo program, the USSR secretly launched Project Zvezny Gorodok, a lunar base. Designer Barmin proposed a bold idea, self-drilling habitation modules to build an underground base on the moon. Why underground? Because cosmic radiation on the lunar surface is over 200 times stronger than on Earth. Astronauts staying there for months would receive a lethal, cancer-causing dose. Hiding 2 meters under lunar soil reduces radiation by 90%, the only viable place for long-term human survival. The plan envisioned a 9-module underground base on the moon by 1985, housing 6 rotating astronauts, complete with nuclear reactors, water-oxygen generators, and science labs. Total weight, 130 tons. Budget, $8 billion, equivalent to $50 billion today. But there was a fatal flaw. It relied on the N-1 Super Heavy rocket. Standing 105 meters tall, weighing 2,750 tons, it could carry 23.5 tons to the moon, the most powerful rocket ever built. The Soviet plan first launched the self-drilling habitation module, which would automatically find a suitable spot, drill underground, then send living modules, lab modules, and energy modules to connect into an underground base network. Sounds perfect, right? But reality dealt the USSR a deadly blow. Between 1969 and 1972, the N-1 rocket underwent 4 test launches, all catastrophic failures. The first launch, a fuel line defect caused a leak, and the rocket exploded 68 meters above the ground, with a force of 7,000 tons of TNT, turning the launch pad into rubble. Most terrifying, the USSR covered up all these disasters, claiming they were testing a heavy satellite. As the lunar program floundered, the USSR turned its gaze to Venus. In the early 1960s, scientists believed Venus might have oceans, mild temperatures, and even life. In February 1961, the USSR launched its first Venus probe, but it failed to reach Earth orbit. A week later, Venus 1 successfully departed for Venus, but its antenna overheated, losing contact. This was just the beginning. The subsequent Venus missions were a nightmare. In 1965, Venus 3 became the first man-made object to enter another planet's atmosphere, but all data was lost. In 1969, Venus 5 and 6 sent back shocking data during descent. 320 degrees Celsius temperatures, 26 Earth atmospheres of pressure, and dense sulfuric acid clouds. Both probes were crushed and incinerated 20 kilometers above the surface. Undeterred, Soviet engineers built stronger landers with titanium alloy and liquid nitrogen cooling systems. On December 15, 1970, Venera 7 successfully landed on Venus, surviving for 23 minutes. The data shattered all colonization dreams: surface temperature 464 degrees Celsius, pressure 89 Earth atmospheres, a planetary pressure cooker, a hellscape. But Soviet persistence was unparalleled. They didn't just want data, they wanted to see what hell looked like. In October 1975, Venera 9 and 10 captured humanity's first photos of another planet's surface. A grey sky over jagged black rocks, straight out of a horror movie. In March 1982, Venera 13 and 14 completed the craziest mission of all. They not only took color photos but also recorded sounds from the Venusian surface. When the audio reached Earth, engineers at Mission Control fell silent. It was a deep rumble, mixed with wind and thunder-like booms, sounding like sulfuric acid rain hitting scorching rock. One engineer later recalled, "At that moment, we truly heard the sound of hell. I thought we never should have gone there." Venera 13 lasted 127 minutes at 464 degrees Celsius, far exceeding its 32-minute design life, a record for human probes on another planet. While Venus missions raged on, another top-secret Soviet project unfolded in orbit. Officially, the USSR launched the Salyut 3 space station in 1974 for peaceful scientific research. But declassified files reveal its true codename, Almaz OPS-2, an armed space station. On January 24, 1975, one day before the station returned to Earth, a secret test shocked US intelligence. American surveillance satellites detected a 23mm space cannon on Salyut 3 firing at 950 rounds per minute. Modified from a MiG fighter jet weapon, this specialized R-23M cannon was designed to destroy enemy satellites. During the test, it fired 20 rounds at a defunct Soviet satellite, but the target's fate remains Russia's highest secret. Even more terrifying, the USSR developed a handheld laser weapon, codenamed Laser Pistol, which could fire through the station's portholes to blind the optical systems of US spy satellites. According to partially declassified documents, a prototype was completed in 1984 with an effective range of 10 kilometers, but due to the Soviet economic collapse, it was never sent to space. Imagine if the Cold War had continued, we might have seen laser battles in space. Back to the lunar base plan. The N1 project was officially cancelled in 1974. New chief designer Glushko argued that pouring more money into the failed rocket was pointless. He proposed a new plan, develop the more powerful Vulcan rocket, with double the N1's payload capacity, 43 tons. Theoretically, only 4 launches would be needed to complete Project Zvezda. According to official records, the Vulcan rocket only launched twice, for unrelated missions. But here's a massive gap. What happened to all of Project Zvezda's underground habitation modules, living modules, and lab modules? They were already built, worth billions of rubles. They couldn't have just vanished. There's a chilling possibility. The USSR did secretly launch these modules, but subsequent supply rockets failed. Imagine this scenario. One late night in 1982, 3 astronauts at the Star City base received their final message from Earth. Supply rocket failed. Next launch window in 6 months. They checked the base's reserves, oxygen for 40 days, food for 30. The water recycling system was failing. 2 meters underground on the moon, no sunlight, no hope, only the dimming lights of the life support system. All they could do was wait, or open the hatch and let the lunar vacuum end their suffering in an instant. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Soviet authorities chose complete silence, as if it never happened.